Hey, Wixman Ray here. Hey, it's Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026, about 9:30 p.m. Central Time. So we are here for a second day in a row. Imagine that. Um, okay, so this is looking at our infrared satellite. I just want to show you something here. I like to look at this day cloud phase, but yeah, you can see it's getting dark across most of the country, so we're not going to look at that. But yeah, we got the infrared going on, which is just fine. So it can show you just fine what's going on, especially at night. So we got this shortwave trough that's moved across the Pacific Northwest with some showers and some clouds out through Washington, Oregon, into Idaho, and parts of Montana and Wyoming. So, and then, a few clouds farther south, maybe some really weak showers out here in Nevada and Utah, but really not much going on with that. We still have that low we were talking about yesterday. It's shifted a little farther east and starting to weaken. Still bringing some clouds up across parts of, um, you know, northeast Montana and northwest North Dakota, but really not much rain occurring with that, I believe. So not much to say with that. Then we got our larger scale system. We got a, a little front developing out here over the northern, up into Minnesota and down through the South Dakota here into Nebraska. So we're seeing some pretty good thunderstorms. I believe there's one or two severe storms out there in South Dakota. Got some pretty good storms also with we got a little bit of energy out here across parts of Nebraska, down through Kansas and northern Oklahoma. Some thunderstorms. It looks like they're starting to warm a little bit, so that means most of them are starting to weaken as we go through as the sun's setting out there. Some pretty good activity across Nevada and parts of Arizona here. And yeah, so that's going on. Then a little bit of activity into Texas, mainly in the western part. Eastern part, got some clouds, maybe some little bit of showers out there, but not a whole lot going on with that. And then we've got some thunderstorm activity over Louisiana, Mississippi. It looks like it's starting to die down and weaken as the cloud tops are warming. And then we got some clouds that extend up into Missouri and Arkansas, but I believe that's just some higher level cloud. So that's what's going on there. Um, we've got some clouds out down over the Gulf. Mainly clouds over Florida. I don't think they're getting much in the way of precipitation. Maybe in South Florida. We'll take a look there. And you see the high pressure still sitting over a good part of the East Coast here, or the eastern half of the country. Few high clouds spilling over into the Great Lakes and Northeast, but really nice weather out that way, the eastern third of the country. All right, so looking at our surface observations here, starting in the Northeast, pretty warm out there. Yeah, it looks like we have a 57 there in Bangor, but a lot of them are in the 60s and 70s up there across the Northeast. So nice evening there as it's getting to be about 10:30 at night. Um, Dry throughout, so 60s and 70s extend all the way through the Midwest, through the Mid-Atlantic, down through the Southeast, and very dry too. Low humidity values, so very nice, pleasant day today, and a pleasant evening out there, even for down near the Gulf Coast in Tallahassee. They got 49 dew points, so very nice. Yeah, and same thing in Jacksonville. Yeah, there's a little bit of showers down near Miami and South Florida, but yeah, even into parts of northern Florida, it's really dried out, less humid. So then we see some showers and storms over the Gulf, and they extend up through Louisiana, more isolated across southern Mississippi there. So then we still looks like we got a few showers lingering, maybe a couple pop lightning strikes out here across the parts of Texas here, real isolated, but yeah, and pretty pretty humid across the Louisiana and down through South Texas. Dew points are in the 70s in a lot of places, but a lot drier today in Texas. for the most part. Looks like there's a few showers out here in West Texas that are starting to die down. Some rain out here. Looks like there was a thunderstorm there. Might be a little thunderstorm there north of Marfa, Texas, out in the West Texas area. Got some pretty good thunderstorms going on across New Mexico. Nothing severe, but they're still going on. Looks like mostly 70s out there in New Mexico. Some gusty winds with those too, gusting about 40, almost 50 miles an hour. And then parts of eastern or southeast Arizona got some rain going on. Looks like 99 down in Tucson, 102 in Phoenix, 100 in Las Vegas. Cedar City, Utah is 83. Let's see what St. George. They got 96. So it's getting hot down that way. You got the hundreds down in Southern California, interior, upper 90s. Of course, it's cool for Los Angeles in the mid 60s like they usually are. And then the Central Valleys, we got a lot of 90s showing up. 89 at Sacramento, 83 out in Elko, 85 in Winnemucca, if you know where that's at. 81 in Reno. A little bit of gusty winds from the west, gusting about 20, 25 miles an hour. Nothing too big though. Across northern Nevada, 86 in Salt Lake, so it's warming up there also. Nice, not too bad out in Colorado. Grand Junction's 88. Cooler out by Denver, 66. Looks like they got some rain in eastern parts of Colorado. Got some storms out across central Kansas, some thunderstorms and some rain. Nothing severe. Same thing up in Nebraska. You got a cold front that stretches down through parts of Nebraska back here. Looks like we got one severe storm, kind of south of Valentine's and to the kind of west of Ainsworth, Nebraska. So kind of out there in the cornfields of Nebraska, if you want to call it that. Quite a bit of storms out in South Dakota, especially the eastern half. Got a couple severe warnings. Got a severe warning out in Minnesota, and then some showers and storms back into parts of eastern North Dakota. And those extend all the way up into southern Canada. So, yeah. As we head, nice out there in Wisconsin, 70s, 60s, and mostly 70s across Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri, and dry. And the humidity values are fairly low too. So, pretty nice weather today. A little bit of showers out there, and looks like there's probably not much in Wyoming. A little bit in northern Idaho, into Montana, into Washington, and parts of northern Oregon. A little bit cooler too. Got some 60s, but nothing too cold. And a little bit cooler today. It's dropped a good 20, 25 degrees. 66 in Seattle, 70 in Portland. So quite a bit cooler, closer to normal than what they were yesterday in the 80s. So yeah, so that's about it for our weather roundup, if you want to call it that, for the observations. So got a lot of good weather out there, and then in the center part of the country down through parts of the south, a little bit stormy. All right. Gotta move my hand. I got my mouse way down there, and it's kind of hurting me. So we're going to go over our upper level forecast again, and today I do have it on the right date. I'm learning, like the Pavlov dog trick, I'm learning from my past mistakes. Anyways, so yeah, so we got this big ridge, high pressure, kind of centered over, looks like Tennessee, Kentucky area, but extends through the south and the southeast U.S. and all across the eastern third of the country. So that's why we're seeing that nice weather, and that's kind of keeping all the energy up into southern Canada, at least for the eastern third of the country. This low pressure is offshore, no effect for the U.S. really. A little bit of that. Whoops, didn't want to do that. A little bit of energy in South Florida. That's why it's kicking up some showers and storms down there, and you can see that. That's where we're seeing the showers and storms across Louisiana, a little bit up and through the middle part of the country, central and southern plains, and all the way up north. And this is where we got the stronger trough with all those severe up here in Minnesota and South Dakota and Nebraska with the stronger energy as you move farther north. There's that short wave that's moving into Idaho there, causing those showers and storms out there. And then there's that low pressure we talked about. Then there's that spotty energy across the desert southwest that we're seeing some storms there. So this one here we'll have to watch as we get towards the end of the week through the weekend. This will start causing some interesting weather across the center part of the country, anyways. So as we move through tomorrow, so we'll see this wave here that kind of moves out of this. So this is the one that's out there by eastern Colorado, Kansas. That'll move up into north here. So we'll see this frontal boundary get reinforced with that energy across the Dakotas, Nebraska, Wisconsin, the Midwest, northern Midwest up through the northern plains and then even down into Iowa and Nebraska. That stuff may be approaching parts of Missouri. We'll have to see if it quite makes it tomorrow night, but got a little bit of energy that just touches northern Missouri, so we'll see. Here's that energy from that system out there, and that'll kind of ride up over. So you'll see probably some showers out in Montana and the Dakotas on the western side. Then we see the beginnings of another stronger wave moving across the Pacific Northwest as we go into our Thursday and Friday. And then we see this, the lows kind of centered down here near the Baja, and most of the activity will be over Mexico, northern Mexico, but there's still some energy across New Mexico and Texas, Oklahoma's, and down through this part. So you'll probably see some areas of thunderstorms and showers out down through here, even extending up through southern Missouri and Arkansas, possibly. Still see that little bit of energy up into Louisiana and South Mississippi, so maybe kind of a repeat of what we saw today there. But we still see the ridge kind of holding strong. It starts to break down up in the far northern parts of like Maine, so they might get some clouds, maybe some showers there. And up UP of Michigan gets in on some action as we go into Thursday night. And a little bit down here into Florida, so maybe some isolated storms across parts of Florida again. This stuff probably not going to be amount to much as it's under this high pressure, so but we'll see. But I don't really think we'll see much there. So as we go into our Friday, so we see a ridge starting to kind of try to develop across the central and parts of the west here, and that'll warm it up out here. But this thing here will kind of ride up underneath it, so it brings some energy into New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas. So just see some showers and thunderstorms out here. Maybe extending a little bit into Kansas, although it's a little weaker out there. Um, this system will press eastward, so the Great Lakes, even down towards the Ohio Valley, you might see some areas of showers and thunderstorms, but nothing too big. And then you see this dip in the jet stream out here. We got this low pressure offshore with a lot of energy coming across from northern California, northern Nevada, all the way up through the Pacific Northwest into Montana and the northern Rockies. So that'll bring in some cooler air, or at least a little bit cooler air, and chances of showers and thunderstorms out there as we go through the weekend here. We still got this ridge down there, although it's starting to get suppressed. And I'm touching stuff here. But so pretty quiet across southeast. We do get this little wave here coming through like Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky. So that may kick off some showers up here. So this ridge is getting kind of suppressed, but it stretches a little bit towards the mid-Atlantic. So you'll still have some nice weather out there, but not like it has been the last 2 days or so. Couple days anyways. All right, so as we go into our Saturday, so we see a low pressure forming out there in West Texas, and that'll move up into Kansas and Oklahoma as we go through the day on Saturday through Saturday evening. And then this system really deepens across the west, extends farther almost into Southern California. So good part of the west will get unsettled, cooler with the periods of showers and thunderstorms. The ridge continues to build and move across the center part of the country. So up here across the northern plains and up through this area, it'll be nice weather on Saturday. But this will kind of keep things dampened underneath that ridge as this low pressure moves out of Mexico up through Texas. So from Oklahoma, even into Missouri a little bit, they'll see some storms and back down through this whole area. So New Mexico and West Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas will be on and off stormy through the weekend. You know, from now. Here's that ridge still kind of stretching across the southeast and Florida. Um, Gets kind of suppressed. You see a little energy kind of come across here, parts of the southeast. So you may see some more isolated, just scattered showers and storms out through this area. You also see that wave coming out of Canada there on Saturday. So that's going to bring some unsettled weather for the Northeast, even down into New York and Pennsylvania. As we go into Saturday and even into Sunday, so some probably rain and thunderstorms through there as we go. And this is Sunday morning. So as you go through your Sunday, this thing continues to move north. So by Sunday night, you got storms all the way up into southern Minnesota, South Dakota. So all through the parts of the northern and central and southern plains are going to see showers and storms. This could pose a severe threat, I would say, from Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas, maybe even down into Oklahoma, at least the northern part. There may be enough energy here for a little bit of severe thunderstorms. And then we see this pretty good wave moving up. Get this main piece of energy on Sunday that moves up across the northern Rockies. So probably get some pretty good thunderstorms with that. And the west will continue to be cool and unsettled through the weekend for a good part of the west. The southwest starts to quiet down, it looks like, in New Mexico and Arizona as we go into Sunday after this system moves through. So they'll at least see a day or two of nice weather down there across the desert southwest before some of this energy maybe influences them. And you can see this trough out here over the west or the east, the northeast, unsettled and cooler across the northeast. So that's kind of going to be the story. Kind of northeast and northwest will be unsettled, well, most of the west, and then kind of this center part of the country with this low. But then you got the ridge kind of extending up over the Great Lakes and even down through this area, the Ohio Valley. So not everyone's going to be wet and messy, but in between those systems, we'll see some messy weather. Even on Sunday, is still the Gulf Coast into Florida. You got the ridge kind of stretching up through there, so they'll have warmer weather and mostly dry. So a couple days of dry weather for the weekend for Florida. So if you're going down to Florida for the weekend, it looks pretty nice. Not a whole lot of storms probably. All right, so that's it for that. I'm not even going to go through the. Oh, I say I don't want to. I won't, but I will. I'd be amiss if I didn't. So here's the surface reflection. So here's that front up here across the northern plains. And then you kind of got the upper level trough, surface trough, probably too through this area, New Mexico and to Oklahoma and Kansas. So pretty much, and then there's the wave up in the northwest, and then the stuff across South Florida. So as you go through tomorrow, you see that front progresses to the east on Thursday. See some storms develop along it out here in the Dakotas into Montana. Here's that wave out there in Montana. And then here's that band of moisture. It's going to press into Missouri, Arkansas, and eastward as you go through tomorrow. So the stuff that's out here will be over here tomorrow, showers and storms. And then some more scattered, isolated out here in West Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, even Southern California, or Colorado, I should say. South Florida looks like it'll be a little stormy too tomorrow afternoon and evening. Man, what is going on with that? Okay, there it goes again. It's really sensitive. I know what it is. My mouse is on top of this. Okay, so as we go into Friday, you can see that front advances across the north, but really doesn't make a good southern push as you got this ridge. You see the surface high kind of dominating the mid-Atlantic and the southeast. So you'll still see that stuff we were talking about down here. Here's that activity across Missouri, southern Missouri down through Texas. But here's where the front is across the Great Lakes down through Iowa. And so that's where you'll probably see your focus of severe on Saturday. Yeah, there's Saturday night, even into Nebraska, maybe into northern Missouri there a little bit. Trying to get towards Kansas City Saturday morning, so we'll see what happens with that. And then you can see that as the next wave coming in Friday and Saturday for the Northwest. Looks like it cools down too. You start seeing some mountain snow showing up on Saturday. So we're going to Saturday. Yeah, a little more rain up there in the Northwest. Some spotty showers up in the northern Rockies. See, it's kind of unsettled across Texas and Oklahoma as that wave's coming up out of Mexico there. And here's the remnants of that front stretching from northern Missouri all the way back through the northeast. So showers and storms will be common on Saturday through along that front there. Still dry out here. You can see the influence of that high pressure. This is the surface reflection here. A couple isolated storms across Florida. And then on Sunday, you can kind of see this front dips down but weakens through the mid-Atlantic. So maybe some showers and storms from Virginia down through Kentucky, Ohio, and then there's that low pressure that's moving up. Doesn't show much in the surface, but upper level will cause a lot of showers and storms through the center part of the country, even down through the south. So you have to watch for some isolated severe. And then here's that stuff up north, the northern Rockies, with that system moving out of the west there on Sunday. So, and this is what it looks like Sunday night. So, yeah. So it looks pretty wet for this part of the country over the weekend, up into the northeast. It looks like that rain starts to move out as we go into Sunday night, but most of the day it looks like there's those showers moving through. It looks like Saturday will be really wet up there across the northeast. So, yeah. Florida the same. You got a few storms down there on Sunday, so that's all I've got for you. Oh, I do have this, but we'll look at this and see what they're saying. Yeah, so you kind of got that stuff across the northern plains tonight, down through Kansas, where you saw the thunderstorm activity. The slight risk is where we saw those, Minnesota and western Minnesota and South Dakota, where we saw the couple severe warnings. There's as that cold front passes through, kind of same general area. They do have a sliver, a marginal going down into northern Oklahoma and Kansas, northwest Missouri. I think we kind of mentioned could be thunderstorms down there tomorrow night. Whoops, wrong one. And then as you go into your Friday, there it is from Nebraska, Iowa, parts of the Midwest out here, and even surrounding it, even down towards Kansas City and near Chicago, Milwaukee. This whole area has a marginal threat, anyways, as you go into Friday. Saturday, they had this little sliver area up here in Montana. North. That's with that system coming out of the Rockies. So, yeah, it looked like some strong energy. I saw that, and I was mentioning, yeah, there could be some storms up there, maybe stronger stuff. So, maybe severe. So, yeah, but that's all we've got today. I'm going to kind of wind this down. It's getting to be late. My bedtime's coming up real quick here. So, where I start babbling and saying stuff or messing up again. At least today I was on the right day and time and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I appreciate y'all. I'm glad to be here. I will mention that I'll probably have a video tomorrow, but once again, I got to do a little more traveling over the weekend. So I may not, I'll try to get some out on the weekend, but we'll just see how it goes. So, and if not, even if I don't do one tomorrow, that's why I'm saying it today, you'll probably see me either one or two this weekend or Or worst case, you'll see one next week sometime when I return from my travels. So hey, I appreciate y'all. Tell your mom, your sister, your lover, your partner, whoever about our channel, your kids. Let them know about the Wixman Ray channel. How we talk about weather and talk about vorticity and lows and highs and how the upper level pattern affects the surface and all that kind of good jazz and vorticity and clouds and showers and storms, all that fun stuff. If you like weather, hey, this is the place to be. So, hey, I appreciate you all. Please like and subscribe. Wixman Ray out.